We begin tonight in the city where investigators are on scene of the train tracks off of Oriad Street. An Amtrak train was delayed earlier tonight after a person was found on the tracks. Reports say the train engineer saw a person lying between the rails near Union Station as the train approached. They stopped the train before it hit the person. There is no word on the condition of that individual. Police are still investigating. In Upton, a police dash cam caught a driver driving on the wrong side of the road this week, and the driver was arrested for OUI and faced a judge Monday for his arraignment. Our Olivia Lemon has the details.
26-year-old Christian Cugini appears in Milford District Court Monday. The Hopedale man is charged with drunk driving.
I'm a truck driver with all my license. I'll do what you're allowed to do.
I appreciate that.
This video from an Upton police officer's dash cam shows Cugini driving on the wrong side of the road early Saturday morning.
At that point, the officer initiated a stop or turned his lights on to initiate a stop. The vehicle continued for a short distance and then finally pulled over on the side of the road.
Police Chief Michael Bradley says the officer pulled Cugini over just seconds before a potential head-on collision.
You can see in the video there's a vehicle coming in the opposite direction immediately after he stops the vehicle.
Upton police say another person was arrested hours later, again for drunk driving.
When the officers arrived, the operator was passed out. The vehicle was still running. His foot was on the accelerator. The vehicle was in reverse and the tires were still spinning.
Bradley says with warmer weather approaching, he is reminding drivers to be cautious behind the wheel.
We put this out on our social media, hopefully to bring some attention to these issues, and hopefully people will choose to have a designated driver.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
More than a dozen schools around the state receiving threats today, including a number right here in the Worcester region. And this is not the first time many of these cities and towns have had to respond to situations like this in recent months. Alicia Palumbo has more.
Several schools evacuated, others sheltering in place after more than a dozen anonymous bomb threats were called into schools across Massachusetts Monday morning.
Unless someone just wants to cause utter disruption, which of course it may be the case, you have to start wondering why so many of these keep coming in.
Brookline was one of at least 16 communities where a threat was called in. Many were automated calls, similar to the dozens of threats at area schools back in January.
Is it concerning? Yes. I'm hoping it's a hoax and that it's not real.
Someone's coordinating these things. I don't know if it's just to try to get people to get used to it and, have us get complacent, which is the worst thing.
Not only are parents frustrated, but students say they're getting sick of the interruption to their classes.
I really don't think there is a bomb, so to know that someone's doing that is really disheartening. It's like a boy who cried wolf situation, so no one's really taking it seriously.
But state and local police say they have to take each school threat seriously, oftentimes deploying resources that are needed for emergencies elsewhere.
It's a danger to the community. We had a serious car accident where a car went into a tree, and actually one of the fire units that's supposed to respond to that was over at the high school.
The good news is these bomb threats were deemed unfounded fairly quickly Monday morning, but still it was disruptive to thousands of students across the state. In Brookline, Massachusetts, Alicia Palumbo, Worcester News Tonight.
Police are increasing patrols in Dunstable following numerous thefts from motor vehicles over the last several days. Last Wednesday, 2 cars had their windows smashed in at Larder Field. A purse and its contents were stolen from each of the vehicles. Officials believe that the recent string of break-ins may be the work of one group. They are urging residents to lock their vehicles and secure their belongings. Well, it was a homecoming tonight for the Mass State Police Superintendent. Colonel Richard McKeon was on the campus of Anna Maria today. McKeon is a graduate of the grad program at the college. He was the keynote speaker of a program that centered around current issues in law enforcement. He touched on a number of topics throughout his speech, including crime prevention and also creating trust between law enforcement and the public. McKeon also participated in a question and answer session. Well, April is Genocide Awareness and Prevention Month, and at one local university here in the city, students acknowledge the genocide that isn't often remembered. The Student Anti-Genocide Coalition at Clark University held a gathering to remember those lost during the 1994 Rwandan genocide, where an estimated 800,000 people lost their lives. Some names of the victims of the genocide were read aloud. Students say their education at Clark has helped to enlighten them about the realities of genocide.
I know specifically I've been learning a lot about Rwanda here at Clark, and it's kind of brought me to want to learn more and want to remember the people who have helped and also who have died from the genocide.
Carl Wilkins was on hand for the event. He also spoke to students prior to the gathering. He was a humanitarian aid worker in Rwanda and was the last American to remain in the capital during the genocide. He says people around the world can learn from the tragedy.
Well, you know, genocide comes from thinking that says my world would be better without you in it. And I think anytime we think we're going to solve a problem by getting rid of somebody, it'll be temporary at best and it'll be genocide at worst. So I'm hoping that people, when they hear the stories from Rwanda, they'll begin to start honestly looking at ourselves and who are we afraid of? Who do we welcome or who do we shun?
Clark is the only university in the country to offer a degree in Holocaust and genocide studies. Well, it's also Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and a local agency we spoke with says it's important that people don't shy away from discussing the topic. Our Patricia Nicholas has more.
That you can live beyond this, and this does not have to be your life. It's not I was abused, period. It was I was abused, and I'm going to get through it, and I'm not going to allow that abuser to take over my life.
Kanisha Coy was abused growing up. Her family was a well-to-do family. She says because of that, it was hard for her to talk about it. But Pathways for Change has helped her cope.
It's not easy. I've had people tell me that I was lying about my experiences, and that for me, I mean, for anyone, I think it would shut them down, and for me, even more so. So it was a battle even just coming out and start speaking about this.
Pathways for Change is a rape crisis center located in Worcester. The agency services sexual assault survivors through different programs.
The fundamental things that we talk about in the agency every day is start by believing. The percentage of false disclosures is less than 2%. So what that tells us is if anyone has the courage to come forward in the first place, they're telling you the truth.
The agency also trains members of the community into becoming peer support counselors. They say that approach is the most effective after trauma.
And that kind of, I think, is a really great approach to this type of work, especially right after trauma, because you know, it's going to somebody who, you know, is on the same level.
The agency also does prevention education work in numerous local schools. Assumption College freshman Alyssa says the work that Pathway does has been crucial in her recovery from trauma that she experienced prior to college and even while there. She says it's an important resource for all.
People don't really talk about it, and especially in the college community, obviously, it's a huge issue. So to have someone like that on campus and have this organization so close to home is so amazing, and I think it impacts so many people's lives.
And that was our Patricia Nicholas reporting. Well, a big day for baseball fans in Boston. The Red Sox play their first home game of the season. And our Andy Madison was there earlier today and has a look.
Get your program here, $2.
In Massachusetts, it's not officially baseball season until the Red Sox take the field at Fenway Park.
I wish everyone could experience like the atmosphere here, the people, the fans. It's just, yeah, it's just a way of life, seriously.
It's not super warm today, but it's like the start of summer. We're like so excited for baseball season to start.
Auburn resident Mike Miller said he had to be here for today's game, since it's the last home game for his favorite player, David Ortiz.
The last couple of years it's been tough, but you know, I made a commitment this year. I said I was going no matter what.
Baseball was in the air as fans packed Yawkey Way. Food, memorabilia,
Go Red Sox!
and enthusiasm for the first home game of the season.
David Price was an awesome signing. David Ortiz, you know, last season, definitely have to see him one more time. So it's definitely just another excuse to come back.
For Red Sox fans all across Massachusetts, there's no place they'd rather be.
The beach and Fenway Park are my two favorite things in the world.
The weather cooperated for the Red Sox home opener, and fans are hoping that the team will play well in Ortiz's last season. At Fenway Park, Andy Madison, Worcester News Tonight.